So somebody asked me to tap into the Julio Foolio case that's going on. You may not know who that is. I'll explain who it is in a moment. I'm going to play a little bit of the video to let you know where I stopped and what made me say I gotta react to this.
A Julio Foolio trial has started, and the five cockroaches who murdered Julio Foolio, they're cooked. Right? Absolutely cooked. Now, five cockroaches has been accused of murdering Julio Foolio. However, only one cockroach is currently on trial, and that's the only female of the group. Now, the reason why she's going at trial separately is because her defense is a little different than the others. Their defense is we ain't do it. Right? These white folks is lying on us. The white man want to hold us. We ain't do it. I don't know what they're talking about. Her defense, though, is, well, I was there when it happened, right? They definitely murdered Julio Foolio, but I didn't know what was going on. I was a bystander. Me and my boyfriend had a vacation booked, and he did a drill while we were on vacation. I don't know what took place. I don't know what happened. I'm innocent.
I stopped it there. I stopped it there because these guys are cooked because they brought a woman on the drill. Her whole case is basically telling on them. Her whole case is, her whole defense is basically, yeah, they did it. And that's all that matters for them. That's all that matters for them. It just amazes me how stupid a lot of these criminals are. But on top of just stupid, it's like a lot of them be emotional and impulsive, but they got a high capability of violence. And I don't know if I ever said this on the channel. I've said it in real life to real people. That is how come I could never be in the streets. I'm not about to sit here and cap to you like, oh, nigga, like I could never be in the streets because you have some people who are intelligent. You have some people who are, you know, street smart, savvy, all that stuff. But you got certain people who are the crash outs, right? And they have a high capability of violence, but they always inebriated, always high, very sensitive, very emotional, and they'll kill somebody over just the stupidest shit just because they feel some type of way about something. Motherfuckers will kill a nigga over jealousy. Like niggas will kill motherfuckers over a joke. And dog. And don't let it get to anything with any money or anything like that. Anything business related. Don't let the dude try and, you know, want to snake somebody out of something or something like that. Like there's no reasoning with people who aren't really capable of reasoning because they're dumb as fuck. And I'm not saying all the dudes, but I'm saying it's dudes in the streets like this for sure. And I'll give you a great example. Alpo. Alpo was a serial killer, basically, in Harlem. The guy who Paid in Full was made after Rico in Paid in Full. Cameron's character is him. You know, when you listen to, I think his name is AZ Faison, I think, who was Ace, or you know, in the story, or Paid in Full in the movie. You know, long story short, how Alpo felt. He felt like Rich Porter was shorting him and all that stuff, or he was playing with his money or whatever. And the only way he thought he could solve that problem was by killing him. The nigga killed him. And then not only did he regret killing him, but it was almost like he was trying to kill AZ Faison as well. Like, if you listen to how AZ Faison tell the story and stuff like that. And he was very hurt after he killed this dude that he didn't need to kill. He was so hurt that, you know, later when everybody realized that he did it, you know, because the streets talk, he came and he seen AZ Faison in like the diner or something like that. And he was like, yo, why is Rich mom trying to say that I killed him? AZ kept it a beam with him. He was like, yo, everybody think you killed him. It's not just the family. Like, everybody in Harlem thinks you killed Rich. Everybody's saying that. He told AZ, yo, if I gave her 50 grand, do you think she'll stop saying that? Just think about the logic when it comes to that. These are the type of people that people who don't really think and just act on impulse. And that impulse can be very deadly if you're one of the people dealing with them. And just if you look at the little Dirt case, which I covered on this channel before, it's probably my biggest video, probably. Right under King 6'8" the Great. Dirk sent them niggas on a mission to LA and told them, listen, do not use any company cards. Do not use it. These niggas use a OTF bank account, OTF credit cards, and all this stuff, linking everything that they purchased to do the killing back to Dirk. Even though he told them, the feds got the text, they got everything, bro. Even though he told these niggas not to do that shit. That's one of the first. They got the rental and they got like the hotel and all types of shit with that card. It's like niggas you dealing with a lot of stupid motherfuckers, like wildly stupid, but they will kill a motherfucker quick, easily, not think about it. The issue with that is that people typically get into the streets in their youth and they haven't seen enough to realize that's what's going on with a lot of these people. But anyways, we're going to get into the reaction. I just had to get that out so that I don't have to go that deep on that point again, because that's a big talking point that I have. A big set of talking points that I have when it comes to street shit, thugs, and all that. But in case you didn't know, which if you're this far in the video, you probably know, but Julio Foolio is a drill rapper. He used to rap about killing people, people getting killed. It's possibly he did some drills himself as far as killing some people. But even if he didn't, he's very close to people who are, and he's celebrating the people who are killing people on records. And he was dissing the dead. He did a video at one of his air quote ops, one of the people that his gang killed, gravesite. He did a music video at a gravesite before. So yeah, with that being taunting, his people who are alive and also disrespecting the dead. So with that being said, that's who he was. That's the legacy he left behind. And these people who killed him are on trial for that killing. And they brought a woman with them. And only the woman is on trial because she is the one who was like, yo, they did it, but I ain't had nothing to do with it. I was on a Jet 2 holiday.
Her name is Alicia Andrews. Now, Alicia Andrews was dating one of the other cockroaches, okay? Now, that other cockroach, he's a rapper, and he's really close with Young and Ace and them, but his role in this, he was not one of the shooters, no. Apparently, him and Alicia is being accused of running surveillance for the shooters. They were the ones who went around looking for Julio Foolio. Once they found Julio Foolio, because Foolio was posting his location all night, they got to the club that Julio Foolio was at, and they followed him all night. And as they was following Foolio, they was communicating with the shooter, calling him. Now, when they were communicating, they was using Alicia Andrews' phone to call the killers and let them know, hey, Foolio here, Foolio there. Her boyfriend is the cockroach on the left named Isaiah Chance. Now, Isaiah Chance is a wannabe rapper, thirsty for some clout and fame. Now, the other dudes, the shooters, because the shooters were Sean Gothright and then Davion and his brother, right? So they were the shooters. Now, they had personal beef with Julio Foolio, right? The brothers who killed Julio Foolio, they had personal beef, right? Julio Foolio was accused of going to their brother's grave and pissing on it. Julio Foolio, took their brother killer when he got out of jail. Bro, he took him all across the country, brought him to a no-jumper interview, gave him clout. So they got personal beef with Julio Foolio.
And this is the thing about this type of killing, that is not what I'm used to as far as how the hood operate, how the game operates as far as the streets and shit like that. This is absolutely senseless killing tied to nothing. If you a LA dude, when motherfuckers pick up the gang banging and stuff, they'll kill each other just because they from opposing gangs. That's still serial killing and all that. But when you look at this, it's these are two opposing sides that are just killing each other for clout and rap clout, and really not no money involved, no drugs involved, no territory involved. It's all stupid.
Sean Gathright and Isaiah Chance, for the most part, for lack of better words, they D-Rod us, all right? They were D-Rodding the Zach, all right? Trying to get in where they fit in. So they committed a body on someone they don't know, had no beef with for the most part, all right, because they wanted to fit in. The prosecutors had so much evidence they wanted to introduce, so much overwhelming things they wanted to talk about, that the prosecutors' opening statements ended up being 2 hours long. 2 hours long. Now, one of the things that surprised me during the opening statement, because a lot of us thought Julio Foolio got murdered because he's dropped his location during his birthday. That's why he was killed. That they was in Jacksonville minding their business. They looked on social media. Julio Foolio was posting about his birthday. He dropped his location. They hopped in the car and drove to locate Julio Foolio. Come to find out, that's not the case. That's not what happened. This was in action days before.
Charles Jones. You've heard his name in the indictment. That's his face. Just a few seconds of the mountain of evidence that you will see in this case of what happened that night. Evidence that will show you clearly that these co-conspirators hatched this murderous plot not minutes, not hours, but days before this, formulating in their hearts and minds this agreed upon, collective, and confederated plan with one common agreed upon goal: death, violence, and murder. A conspiracy motivated and hatched days before, hundreds of miles away from Tampa. A conspiracy that would span through those days and over 500 miles of travel.
I know that Julio Foolio posted a flyer letting people know he was going to be hosting a party in Tampa for his birthday weekend. So my best guess is they located or seen that flyer. They knew he was going to be in Tampa. They went to Tampa, booked the Airbnb, and their plans was, hey, we're going to stalk him tonight, right? We're going to try to locate him. We're going to watch his story, see where he's at, and try to coordinate this hit. That right there is what I believe took place. Now, Alicia Andrews is saying, hey, listen, they planned it for days beforehand, but I had no idea about this plan, right? Isaiah Chance is my boyfriend. Now, as far as I knew, we were booking an Airbnb to hang out for the weekend. I had no idea that when we're going to go hang out for the weekend or, go to this vacation, I had no idea that I was going to be a part of this murder plot. I had no idea that my boyfriend was stalking or surveilling Julio Foolio. I was just going along for the ride with him.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, there was no evidence whatsoever that Alicia Andrews killed Charles Jones. No evidence whatsoever that Alicia Andrews wanted Charles Jones dead. No evidence whatsoever that Alicia Andrews did anything to help that group of men kill Charles Jones. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're not just here to deliver a verdict. You are here to right a wrong.
I don't know if he's a public defender or a paid attorney. Now, he did bring the energy up. I'll give him that, right? Because the prosecutors were pretty nonchalant, indifferent. He brought the energy up.
But this is not a rap concert. This is a trial for somebody's life. And I've never heard the energy has won a case. I've never heard that. I've never heard of that.
But I don't think I've seen anyone start off an opening statement sitting down, screaming at the court or at the jury without the mic near him. But that's how he chose to start it off.
Alicia Andrews was on a weekend trip with her boyfriend with only one agenda: to be with her boyfriend.
I'm going to keep it so real with you. Just because of her lawyer's haircut, she is cooked.
2, Alicia Andrews is not in a gang. 3, with the exception of her boyfriend, Alicia Andrews did not know any of those men in that group, and none of those men in that group knew Alicia Andrews. As a matter of fact, if there was some conspiracy, Alicia Andrews was not in the loop because she was not in the group. 4, Alicia Andrews is not a part of the drill rap culture, nor the drill rap scene. 5, Alicia Andrews did not have any physical evidence on any weapon displayed by the state. You would not find DNA, fingerprints, no physical evidence whatsoever linking Alicia Andrews to this case.
I'm always a big fan of the defensive, which is, hey, bro, I'm guilty, but I ain't that guilty. I did it, but I ain't do it like that, bro. Like, y'all added extras on it. I'm a fan of those defenses, bro, right? Because usually I appreciate honesty in a lot of these things, all right? Like, for example, Nipsey Hussle's killer, he tried to do the exact same defense. He said, listen, I killed Nipsey Hussle. I did it. Y'all got me, all right? But I ain't do it how y'all say I did it, bro. Like, I ain't some type of super premature, like premeditated killer. Nah, bro, I went to talk to Nipsey Hussle. He called me a rat, and I committed a murder out of crime and passion. He tried to plead to crime and passion. He tried to get that. Because crime and passion is 15 years. And if you admit you committed a murder, but you did it because it was a crime of passion, because Nipsey Hussle called you something that antagonized you, and you are a street dude, so hence you're this Neanderthal who you think like a primate, and he called you this, so you just had to act like an animal. He tried it, it didn't work, because one of Nipsey Hussle's homie, they testify, Nipsey did not call him no snitch. They had a friendly conversation. He went and came back and killed Nipsey Hussle. So hence it's premeditated. It cannot be a crime of passion.
Now, even though that wasn't the case in the Nipsey Hussle case, people in real life have done that. They have killed somebody over words that were said, over perceived disrespect. And it's just like I mentioned at the soliloquy that I did at the top of the video. That's what a lot of these people do. They do emotional killings. Now, they say this was premeditated and all that. How did y'all premeditate having a bitch as the driver?
This case, she's saying, listen, y'all got me, okay? My boyfriend lying, the co-defendants lying, the killers lying. They were there. They killed Julio Foolio. However, I didn't know they were going to do it, right? I was there when they linked up. I was there when they called each other. He even used my phone to call one of the killers. However, I did not know what was going on. I was on a weekend vacation with my boyfriend in Tampa, right? We booked an Airbnb. I was in love. And he just drove me around as he committed, like this murder. But I had no idea. Now, listen, a lot of y'all may think this is like, come on, chick. Like, cut it out, bro. You were a full participant. But can I say it with an absolute certainty that a jury won't give this any action? I can't, bro. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I've seen stranger things happen. Like, come on, Hernandez Govain, young Dolph alleged killer. He beat the case. And his defense was, hey, I know everybody around me wanted young Dolph dead, right? I know Big Jug was over my crib and, and like one of the killers came over, and the killer is claiming that at that meeting, we put the bounty on young Dolph's head. But listen, he lying. I don't know what happened, right? Y'all have no physical evidence I did this. I don't know what happened. And he beat it. So she may have some action at this.
She says how many rooms? She says 2. Now, there's some assumption on Detective Ramos' side that because Alicia Andrews asked for 2 rooms for this romantic getaway, as he claims it to be, was some indication that she intended for this other group of guys to come to the Airbnb with them. In reality, Miss Andrews and Isaiah Chance were kind of on the outs. Didn't know if they were going to be on the in or the outs. So they got 2 rooms, bigger, more comfortable, some space for this trip that was to be a trip of reckoning and maybe reconciliation. Ultimately, though, Alicia Andrews and the friend or follower does not book the Airbnb. Somebody else does. Alicia Andrews did not know that somebody else books the Airbnb. She was out of the loop. Nonetheless, Airbnb booked on the way to Tampa. Isaiah Chance, and you saw the video, before he picks up Alicia Andrews, stops by Sean Gaithwright's house, where he packs up all of these bags. Alicia Andrews never sees what goes into the Impala. She's not a part of that packing process. Not in the loop. Isaiah Chance goes and then picks up Miss Andrews, brings her back to where they pack the bags, and then they head down to Tampa.
When they got to Tampa, the police have a full surveillance on how she earned herself a murder charge. When they got to Tampa, they went to the McDonald's. Now, at the McDonald's, they have footage of Isaiah Chance and her. At the McDonald's, she didn't have on a mask. So the investigators and the detectives believe fully that she knew what was going on because she didn't have a mask at McDonald's. But when they were surveillance, Foolio later that night, when they was going to the club where Foolio was at, looking for him, she had on a mask. When they was following Foolio, she had on a mask the entire time.
And see, this is another thing. Like when we talk about just the emotional and impulsiveness of these people and how they will plot, but they don't really thoroughly think, because this is the thing. Why are just okay, so you're in a car, right? The car more than likely has license plates and things like that. So the fact that you were in the area and you're going to do things in this car becomes a piece of evidence. And if you know how a lot of these, you're in Tampa. You're in Tampa. They're going to have surveillance footage from the street cameras of your cars or of your car. They're going to have that. It's a guarantee that they're going to get the information from the license plate and the make and model of the car, and also even possibly who is in it. So that's one thing while you riding around and stuff like that. The cats be doing crime in 2025 and just don't think about nothing. Let me give you a prime example of the fuck up with that. When they tried to shoot young Dolph, the people who got, kind of charged for that, but the charges fell off for whatever reason, was a black youngster and who was the dude, man? Block Boy JB. They had rented a car in their name, and it was alleged that the car was the same car. That rental was the same car that, and it was in the same city as well at the same time. The car that shot up young Dolph's SUV that was bulletproof, and he made the song, How Y'all Miss a Whole 100 Shots. But the fact that they could even trace a rental back to you, and they dropped the charges or whatever, but the fact that they could trace the rental back to you, it's stupid. Now, this is what I think about them dropping the charges on that. Yeah, they had a case for Dolph's death because that was necessary. But they are hitting rappers and rap groups and rap labels with RICOs now, and it's possible that there is, because they don't, the feds, when the feds get on you, they not trying to get minute right shit. They not trying to get chicken noodle soup, 15-minute cook up. They are waiting. They are waiting. When it came to the 6ix9ine investigation, they have been investigating the 9 Trey Bloods for like four years before that, and he had like a 2-ish year run. So he came in while they were already investigating this group. So they didn't do a RICO because he was rapping and he's got our attention now. They were on these motherfuckers before that. So they will wait and they will get, like dude said, a mountain of evidence. And then they gonna get you. So I think there is a, what is his CMG RICO possibly loading. They probably working on that. But even past that, let's go and talk about the 6ix9ine case real quick. Shotty was just a wild, impulsive, like, shooter. I can't call him a killer, but a shooter. And the craziest thing is he was supposed to be a boss. He was a gangbanger, but he is supposed to be a boss. Shotty is getting out of the car. And they have footage of this cat because there are cameras all over New York. He gets out the car. He gets on one knee type shit from my memory and takes a focused shot with a gun at somebody. Maybe a couple shots, whatever it was. But he got out the car and started shooting. And it's all on camera. You got the car license plate. You got the car. You got him stepping out of the car. It's all HD. These people do not think. They think, but they don't think hard enough. A lot of them are not capable of thinking smart enough to get away with anything. They're so caught up in the moment. But let's continue with this Julio to Foolio shit. Like, you know, so you already in a car, and that car is going to be hot after y'all do this shit, right? Y'all are doing shit like going into McDonald's anywhere, like there are not cameras inside the McDonald's. And y'all knowing what y'all about to do. Like, y'all didn't even go to the drive-thru. Y'all went inside the McDonald's. Like, how Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm really convinced that these people don't really think much about how to get away with the shit. And they don't really think much about anything. They thought the masks were going to protect them. And they also brought a woman. This is the thing, and I got to keep it real. It doesn't matter if she knew or didn't know. It matters for her case. But if we talk about this actual killing, like, this street shit is a contact sport. And the only time a chick is typically going to be in the mix, outside of, like, you know, antagonizing some or whatever the case may be, and some stuff that's not really street, but it's like, you know, somebody might get killed or whatever. But the only time they're really in the mix as far as the actual crime being done, as far as murders, is typically being the bait to lure somebody in or set somebody up, because that's what they do. They set up a lot of the air quote back doors and shit like that. Never was a chick supposed to be the getaway driver, and guess what? Even in the Nipsey Hussle case, whether old boy, right, as far as, what's his name, man? Shitty cuz, I forget his name. Eric Holder, maybe? But whether it was emotional or it was not emotional, guess who his getaway driver was? A woman, an unaffiliated woman, a woman that is not in the gang. Like, she seen what you did. The camera seen what you did. The whole parking lot seen what you did. You were never going to get away with this. But you felt you had to do it. You felt you had to do it. And boy, they fucked up Eric Holder so bad, man. He came to trial looking lumped up so crazy.
In the interrogation room, Detective Ramos tells Alicia Andrews that she must not be wearing a mask at the clubs to conceal. She must be wearing the masks at the club to conceal her identity, because she's not wearing the mask at the McDonald's. But the reality is, Alicia Andrews thought that it was just going to be her and her boyfriend.
I'm not Bobo the Fool. You not Bobo the Fool. You know why she had on that mask, bruh. She had on that mask to conceal her identity. She knew what was going on. Because if Foolio would have seen her, he would have knew, okay, they got a drop on me. And he not lacking, right? He getting straight to it. She knew what she was doing. Now, her defense team, they came with a strategy. Now, they had an explanation for why she had on a mask, just for when they was following Foolio, but ain't have the mask at McDonald's or anywhere else. He says the reason why was because her boyfriend told her, hey, we about to go out to eat. But instead, they linked up with Davion, which is one of the shooters in this case. And when they linked up with Davion hopped in the driver's seat. Chance hopped in the passenger. She was in the back. And she was too shy to tell him, man, stop smoking, stop doing this, because Davion took over the entire scene. Like, he came, hopping the wheel, driving like it's his, moving like it's his, smoking. And she says when she got around other people like Davion, she became shy, so she put on a mask. And when they went to the club, she was shy, so she put on a mask because it was no longer just her and her boyfriend, it was other people around. That's why she had on a mask. I'm not buying that, not one bit.
You can't tell me that with that haircut and with that defense that this is not a public defender. This has got to be a public defender, dog. I'm going to keep it so real with you, and I don't care how it sounds. A Jewish lawyer would never come with this defense, dog. A Jewish lawyer would figure something else out. This ain't the one. But to be fair, I'm not a lawyer, and he's working with a client that is clearly fucking guilty. Clearly guilty. So it's like, everybody knows she's cooked, but we gotta let the barbecue play out.
Now, as the story progressed, it gets to, okay, cool. Why was your phone used to locate the killers? They have another creative explanation for that. Hey, Isaiah Chance was on the phone. We don't know what they was talking about with the killers. We don't know what they said with the killers, okay? But whatever Isaiah Chance told the killers, she couldn't decipher it. She didn't know what was going on, all right? Because she couldn't really make out what they was talking about. And y'all don't even know if Isaiah Chance was talking to the killers or if the killers was talking to him.
No reason to wear the health mask, the medical mask then. She didn't know that Davion Murphy was going to bum rush the ride and take control of the driver's seat, let alone did she expect Isaiah Chance to let him do so. So she's caught without her mask unexpectedly. Davion's in the video, you see him smoking and puffing, and Alicia wants to say something, but she can't. Because she's afraid to say something to this guy who just bogarted the cruise, made her man get in the back seat, and took over. She won't say anything. Not because she was trying to hide herself. She didn't say anything because she was scared. Not because she wanted the guy to smoke in her face, because she was scared. They get back to the Airbnb, and a few hours later, they head out again. Go to Club Teasers. Now they're in the cruise again, and Isaiah Chance is driving. Now the state asserts that because Isaiah Chance is driving and Alicia Andrews is right next to him while Isaiah Chance is on her phone, Alicia must have heard everything Isaiah said. They got that from Juan Ramos. But that's a bad assumption. Because there's...
Objection to that comment, Your Honor. Is it proper?
Anyway, again, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this are just the opening statements. The attorneys are telling you what they believe the evidence will be. That's all that it is, their belief. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Malcolm.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's a bad assumption. Because there's no way of knowing. Although the cell phone data shows that that line was open and there was communication between the two phones, there's no way of knowing whether Isaiah Chance was the talker or the listener. And even if Isaiah Chance was the talker, there's no way to know whether he was using explicit language that Alicia Andrews could understand. So, when in the interrogation room, Detective Ramos asks Alicia Andrews what Isaiah Chance was saying, and she says, I don't know. It was the truth. She didn't know. And there is no evidence whatsoever to the contrary.
I'm not buying it, not one bit, all right? But I can't tell you a jury won't buy it. Understand, if she was in the car with the actual killers and shooters, the people who hopped out and shot and killed Julio Foolio, there's really no explanation.
I'm going to give a real take. So 2 things. The first thing that I want to know is, did the other people have on masks, or was she the only person with a mask? If she was the only person with a mask, then that gives, you know, some type of deniability and things of that nature, et cetera, et cetera. It can give some type of angle to where something could be worked. It sounded like she had on a medical mask. It could have said, man, the smoke was too much, so she thought that would cover up, you know, the smoke or whatever. Like, that would have been something better if it was a medical mask. But when you look at, you know, the mask situation, did they all have masks on? I don't feel like going back in the video and seeing if that was said, but that's one thing I would like to know. The second thing is, if I'm being honest, I could see how with this defense that could, like, she could end up getting dragged into something that she didn't want to be dragged into. Because I'm going to keep it so real with you, in real life that actually happens. Because motherfuckers are stupid. Do you think, and this is just me keeping it real, like with the shitty cuz shit, like the chick probably didn't know that he was going to go back and kill Nipsey Hussle. They probably just thought she probably just thought they was going to the marathon store or whatever. But when you got a nigga that just killed somebody and he coming back to the car, like, bruh, like, you can't, if you pull off, that motherfucker might kill you next, or his people might kill you. Like, so it's like, you gotta do what you gotta do type shit. And I could see some niggas being dumb enough to say, yo, this is what we about to do. We about to blast this nigga Julio, for, like, just telling her, and she like, oh shit, that's what I don't want to. You can't really say I don't want to be a part of, like, because you don't got nowhere else to go. Y'all in another city, you in the car, you locked in. You have no choice. You have no choice. So there's a possibility that that's the case. There's a possibility that she knew exactly what was going on the whole time, and that she knew why they was going to Tampa, and she wanted to be a part of it, et cetera, et cetera. But it's very weird, in my opinion, for y'all to involve a chick in any way in a gang-related homicide that y'all are about to commit. Because regardless what the intention was, now you're all caught. Now you're all on trial. And her defense implicates all of you as murderers.
Rather you had any hand in it, if you was in the car with the killers, you are also a murderer, right? Like, that's just the law, right? If you was in that vehicle, you had a hand in that murder, you're being charged. But she was on the other team, supposedly, right? She was on a team with her boyfriend where they was on surveillance watch. So if she's saying, hey, I was just in the car with my boyfriend, he's the one who called the killers and let them know Julio Foolio dropped. He's the one, not me. I don't know what's going on. Then that's like a different story, right? Like, that right there, I don't know. Would a jury convict her of first-degree murder if the police can't really prove that she knew for a fact? She does have a steep hill to climb trying to explain why she was with her boyfriend, mask on, following Foolio around the entire night. She got that to explain, but I don't know, man. Y'all let me...
And that's it, man. That's it. That's all. I pretty much gave a thorough take, so it's not much else for me to say. We'll just see how the case develops, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think I'm going to touch on it every step of the way, but if I see something worth reacting to, or, you know, we get to the verdict or whatever, I might react to it again. Let me know your thoughts. I ain't gone.